Hi, welcome. Thank you all so much for being here, for joining this Ignatian Yoga Nidra class. These practices are a few different practices that I've been engaging for some time and finding a lot of points of connection. And so, uh, usually, most programs with Ignatian Yoga, I usually share that this is an experiment. We're bringing together some ingredients that are very effective, and then by bringing them together, that there's um, something very powerful. And so I hope that this evening will be an opportunity for you to find some rest, some engagement, and some deeper connection with yourself and with God. Just yesterday, I finished a Yoga Nidra training, a 70-hour training over the past couple months. And so part of the training was to offer a live class. So I'm really glad to be able to put this out there and do it also a week before being ordained. So next Saturday, I'll be ordained a deacon, and we'll be preaching on Sunday at St. Ignatius in San Francisco. And so for this practice, I'll be using the gospel reading for next week, which is the greatest commandment, to love your God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and to love your neighbor as yourself. And so I invite you to just engage that. We will be using a guided meditation. So this is part of the Ignatian contemplation piece. And so to place yourself in the scene. So I invite you to consider what this scene might look like to you. If you were to enter into this scene of Jesus being asked, what is the greatest commandment? And him responding, to love God and love your neighbor. So what might a scene look like for you if you were to ask that question? If it was you and Jesus engaging in this dialogue, what might that particular place be where this conversation would unfold? So perhaps just bringing that to mind now. Um, and then during the practice, though, just allow it to rise, whatever comes up for you. So rather than trying to think through it, just allow it to rise from the heart space, from the deep inner space. This practice, Yoga Nidra, is really a practice of non-doing, of non-achieving. So most of all, it's just a chance to undo the day and be here and just receive and allow it to be what it's going to be. Oftentimes people fall asleep in this practice, and that's okay. That's maybe what you need. It is ideal to remain aware and awake if possible, but don't fight it. Just allow it to be what it's going to be. And each time we come to this Yoga Nidra practice, it's going to be different. Each experience we have is unique. So today may be a more active, aware practice, or maybe a practice where you drift off into this space in between the sleep and conscious state or into the sleep state. Um, it's ideal to be lying down on your back for this practice, although it can be done in many different poses. You can lie on your side, you can remain seated, especially if you'd like to stay a bit more aware and awake, that could be another option. So find a seat that's conducive for you for the next half hour for this practice. If you feel comfortable to close your eyes during the duration of this practice, that's great. But if you prefer to keep your eyes open, just bring them to a soft, gentle gaze at one point. So you're stilling your focus on one place. All right, I think that's enough. There's a whole lot more we could share about Yoga Nidra and the Examen and Ignatian contemplation. But most of all, it's great just to experience it, just to practice it. Um, and if you have any feedback, any comments or questions after this practice, I'd love to chat and hear your experience of it. So thank you very much for joining. And let's take a little time to get set up. At the beginning of the practice, it can be nice to do a few preparation practices, maybe a little bit of movement, maybe a few yoga poses, right, to get into the body, to get some energy moving, or just taking some time to settle in, start to focus on the breath, and then allow yourself to be guided through this practice. So begin to settle. Settle into stillness. Find the posture that you will remain in for the duration of the practice. We will now begin the practice of Ignatian Yoga Nidra. Take a few moments to prepare the body, to prepare the environment, making any final movements. Allow your arms to come out to the side a little bit and your feet to fall open. Laying on the ground is an ideal pose, so your body is not touching other parts of the body. So you have space between the arms and the sides of the body, between the legs, with the palms facing upwards. Just beginning to settle, arriving in this space. Give yourself permission to be here fully. Complete any final movements, and then settle yourself into stillness. If it's comfortable for you, close the eyes, or just soften the gaze on one still point. And notice how the world starts to loosen, how the body starts to settle into a restful state. Breathe in fully on the inhale and exhale fully. Inhale fully and hold the breath for a moment and exhale. A few more times like this. Inhale slowly and deeply. Pause, hold the breath. Exhale. One more time. Inhale slowly, deeply in through the nose. Hold the breath. And exhale. Feeling a profound sense of settling, of softening into a state of contentment. We begin to move inwards. Begin with a brief Ignatian Examen. As we start to settle, just reflecting, reviewing the day, and then entering into a deeper state of awareness, deeper connection. And now begin to feel yourself resting in God's hands. Just becoming aware of yourself here in gratitude for the many gifts of this day, the gift of family and friends and community, the gift of this time to be able to slow down, to be able to reflect. Just taking a moment and allow to rise any gifts, anything you're grateful for to come to the surface of your awareness. And now beginning to look back at your day, the day or the past 24 hours, and just notice where you felt a sense of love and connection with others, with nature, with God. Allowing any of these moments of consolation, of awareness, of God's presence to come to mind. And then noticing any moments where you may have felt a disconnect or a sense of separation from yourself, true self, from others, from nature, from God. Just noticing with compassion, with love, perhaps the moments of disconnect. Now, taking a moment to set an intention or identify the grace that you're seeking. So, a heartfelt intention or grace, perhaps one word or one phrase, perhaps just an awareness that you are loved unconditionally. Or if there is another intention or a grace that you're seeking, allow that to rise. And then repeat it 3 times to yourself silently. This intention, this grace is a seed that we will plant within the different layers of our consciousness to allow this to flourish. And now begin to let go of all of that, letting go of the day, letting go of the past. And again, just being aware of yourself lying on the ground, noticing the feeling of the ground beneath you, clothes on your skin. Noticing any sounds you may hear outside, the sounds from within the space you're in, the sounds of your own body and breath. Beginning to turn more and more inwards, withdrawing from a state of doing into a state of being. And now we begin to bring awareness to different places of the body. As the parts of the body are mentioned, just bring your awareness there as a mantra, just repeating the name, bringing your awareness there in order to focus the attention and focus the awareness into one place. So begin by bringing your awareness to the right side of the body. Right hand thumb, index finger, right middle finger, ring finger, little finger, palm of hand, back of hand, wrist, lower arm, right elbow, upper arm, right shoulder, armpit, right side of chest, waist, right hip, right thigh, right knee, right shin, ankle, top of right foot, sole, right big toe, second, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, pinky toe. Whole right side of body. And now bring your awareness to the left side of body. Left hand thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, pinky, palm of hand, back of hand, left wrist, left part of the arm, left elbow, upper arm, left shoulder, armpit, side of body, left hip, thigh, left knee, left shin, ankle, sole of foot, top of foot, left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, whole left side of body. Bring awareness to the back of the body. Right heel, left heel, right calf, left calf, right back of knee, back of left knee, back of right thigh, back of left thigh, right buttocks, left buttocks, spinal column from tailbone to midbrain, midbrain to tailbone, lower back, middle back, upper back, right shoulder blade, left shoulder blade, back of neck, back of head, top of head, forehead, right temple, left temple, right eyebrow, left eyebrow, left eye, right eye, left ear, right ear, left cheek, right cheek, bridge of nose, tip of nose, left nostril, right nostril, both nostrils, upper lip, lower lip, both lips together, teeth, tongue, and gums, right side of jaw, left side of jaw, chin, front of neck, throat pit, right collarbone, left collarbone, right side of chest, left side of chest, upper abdomen, lower abdomen, navel center, right side of pelvis, left side of pelvis. Right foot and leg, whole left foot and leg, both legs and feet together, whole right arm and hand, whole left arm and hand. Right side of body, left side of body, back of body, front of body, whole body together, whole body together, whole body together. And now letting go of the awareness of the body and bring the awareness back to the breath. Now counting the breath, beginning with the number 12 and counting down. Beginning on the inhale, breathing inhale 12, exhale 12, inhale 11, exhale 11. Continuing the breath, counting backwards, beginning with 12. If you lose count, coming back to the number 12. There is no rush or goal. Remember, you are counting from the number 12 downwards. And now letting go of the count. Returning to an inner sense of okayness, feeling secure, grounded, at ease, and spacious. And now letting go of the body, letting go of the breath, accessing the space of the mind, preparing for a guided journey, entering into the space of the visualization or imagination. Beginning to imagine yourself walking down a path of nature, a beautiful, sacred space, perhaps a place you've been or a place in your own imagination, walking down a path and entering into a beautiful, sacred, peaceful place. A place where you can encounter the divine. And now entering into a place and begin to engage the senses. Noticing what you see, what you feel, what you smell, and hear and taste. a gentle breeze, the sway of the trees, birds chirping and flying overhead, beautiful flowers opening. Just placing yourself in the scene, noticing what you imagine and visualize in this sacred, holy, peaceful place. And now becoming aware of the divine presence of Jesus, of this holy, sacred presence. Just beginning to notice what this presence is like. Noticing what the divine, sacred presence looks like to you without thinking, just allowing any image to arise. And just dwelling in this divine presence. And then allowing this question to arise, the question to Jesus, to this divine holy figure. What is the greatest, the most important, the most essential thing? What is most important? And then just visualizing Jesus responding to love God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. This is most important. This is most essential. The second, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. Love God and love your neighbor as yourself. And now take some time, perhaps allowing a conversation to unfold. Perhaps just dwelling in this presence. Perhaps one word or phrase stands out that you just dwell in. Dwelling in the love of God and love of neighbor and God's unconditional love and acceptance of you as a beloved child of God. Just continuing to stay a little longer in this encounter with Jesus, this encounter with this holy person, this encounter with divine presence, dwelling in this love, where love of God, love of neighbor, and love of self are all connected. And now imagine a light shining out of the heart of the Jesus, of this holy presence in your midst, a loving, radiant light glowing from this presence, from the heart. Notice any shapes, any colors. Noticing the light expanding. The light of the divine presence shining forth. And now imagining this light shining in and out of your heart, shining out of this spiritual heart of yours. Noticing this light growing, radiating, expanding from the heart through the entire body. This light of God's love, unconditional love, love of neighbor, love of self, love of God. Perhaps noticing any symbols, any colors, expanding and radiating through the entire body. Now coming back to the intention or to the grace that you're seeking, or perhaps the grace that Jesus or that God is sharing with you in this moment. What is it that God, that this divine presence wants you to know, to feel? It's receiving this light, the light shining and connecting from the heart of the divine, radiating through your whole being. Receiving this light, receiving this unconditional love that you are God's beloved, with whom God is well pleased. And now gently begin to make your way back to the breath. Reconnecting with the natural breath, hearing the sound and the texture of your breath, reconnecting with the sound of the body and the sounds around you. Reconnecting with the sensations in the body. Beginning to slowly and gently deepen the inhale and exhale. Perhaps continuing to feel God breathing life into you, animating your being, feeling this deepening connection between you and the divine presence within your heart, within your body, radiating beyond and connecting you with all beings. Now, whenever you're ready, beginning to bring some gentle movement back to the fingers, to the toes, to the wrists and ankles. You're in your own space, so you're welcome, of course, to stay in this space and just continue to stay wherever you are. And as you're ready, beginning to make some gentle movements, letting this transition be spacious. At your own pace, begin to make your way to the side of your body, just keeping the eyes closed if that's comfortable for you. Gently making your way over to the side and coming back, this posture of rebirth, reawakening, and coming to a seat. And just staying in the seat, taking some time, no rush. And again, if it's comfortable, just keeping the eyes closed and taking some time in meditation, in prayer, perhaps continuing the conversation, continuing to stay in the space with Jesus, with this divine, holy presence you encountered, or perhaps just watching the breath. I encourage you to stay here for as long as you have time and it feels right to just continue to stay in this space of prayer, meditation. And as you're ready to transition out, taking some time to write down any words, any phrases, any images, insights, or reflections on this experience. I will leave you here to continue to stay in this space. Feel free to reach out to me and let me know any feedback, any of your reflections on your experience, any questions you may have. Thank you so much for joining this evening. And be gentle and just continue to stay in this gentle, soft space. I wish you much peace and blessings. Namaste. Amen.